Hey guys, so today is day number 2 as we're talking about the new Tom Ford quads that were part of the Soleil Neige collection. So I did a whole collection overview video, which I will link down below in my description box. And yesterday I posted a video dedicated to the first quad, which is the Soleil Neige quad. It has the smoky blue and smoky gunmetal gray in there. Today we're going to be focusing on quad number 2, the Soleil et Lune, and this is the one that has the green shade in there. So we're going to be doing some swatches. I'm going to be giving you my thoughts, and then we will end the video with a demo of this look. So I feel like I'm being very repetitive when I make these videos, but I know there are some of you out there who are just tuning into this one and maybe didn't catch my other ones. But if you have caught my other ones, I apologize. This is going to be a little bit repetitive. But I purchased these quads from Neiman Marcus in person for $88. They are now available online. I know definitely at Beautylish, and they're starting to pop up on other retailers. Of course, I'll have everything linked down below in my description box. So these quads consist of 4 of the wet dry formula that I love. If you guys have been with me for any amount of time, you guys know that I absolutely love this wet dry formula from Tom Ford. However, they are all very, very shimmery. So if you're someone that really wants a matte shade, or if that is kind of like a deal breaker for you, then this is definitely not the quad for you. There are no mattes in here. Of course, you can pull a matte in from any of your palettes or any of your other eyeshadows, but there is not one in the quad. So I just wanted to mention that. But before we go any further, let's go ahead and take a look at some swatches. Here are some swatches of the 4 shades dry, and I swatched them from left to right, top to bottom. And here are some swatches of these shades wet. And I always like to mention, when it comes to these wet dry eyeshadows from Tom Ford, I don't think that you necessarily need to use them wet if you want any kind of, pigmentation payoff or anything like that. I just think you get a very different effect. You kind of end up with a cream shadow that is a little bit more opaque. It's a little bit more metallic. It's a little bit more, solid as you apply it. But when you use them dry, they are beautiful in a completely different way. I know there are some shadows out there that if you don't use them wet, they're a little bit disappointing. That's not the case with these shadows. They're just as beautiful dry, they're just different looking than they are wet. So you'll see in my demo that I use all of the shades up here dry, and that would be these 3 shades. And then I wet this like light toned gray color, and I use that kind of as liner down below on my lash line. But I did wet it, and I did use that along my lower lash line. And I really like the effect of it because it's not too bold. I think it really matches with the kind of like ethereal watercolory look of the upper lid. It's really mimicked down here, even though I use that shadow wet. So again, at the risk of sounding very repetitive, I love this formula and I love this quad. This one is incredibly beautiful. Yesterday's video on the Soleil Neige quad, I did a much smokier look, and it wasn't necessary. I mean, there was a taupe shade in there and you could have used that all over the lid, and that one can go really from day to night. And I feel the same way about this one because you do have this shade here, and if you kind of put this all over your lid, you could have a very light, kind of natural smoky eye look. Very, very beautiful. But of course, I really wanted to use the green. I think the green in here is just, you just have to. It's absolutely beautiful. And for me, it's a very, very unique green. I don't have a green like this in my collection. I feel like I generally lean towards more like warm olive toned greens, but this is a very cool toned, light, minty, kind of desaturated emerald green. And it's just so, so appealing. I mean, this really, really called out to me. So I have that on the outer portion of my lid, and just gorgeous. Like I mentioned, I use these dry and you just get this beautiful like wash of color. It's so, so lovely. As you can tell, I really love this quad. I really loved yesterday's quad. I love all of them. And you'll see tomorrow in the 3rd quad, that one is just as beautiful. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the demo. All right, I'm going to start with this shade up here, and I've got my Sonia G Worker 1 brush. I'm just going to dip into it, and I'm going to start to apply this to the outer corner of my lid, over onto the center of my lid, and up towards my socket line. And then I'm going to take this very light cream shade, and I'm going to put that on the inner portion of my lid and blend it over that more peachy shade. Now I'm going to take my Chikuhodo GSN 9 brush and I'm going to go into this green shade, and I'm going to basically deepen up the outer corner of my lid with this. I'm actually going to switch brushes. I moved over to my Sonia G Builder Pro brush. The Chikuhodo, where did I put it? The Chikuhodo GSN 9 brush is made of squirrel hair, which is very, very soft, and I don't think it's picking up as much pigment as I would like. The Builder Pro brush is made out of goat hair, and it's still very, very soft, but it's just ever so slightly more grippy than squirrel hair. So I'm going to apply the green with this, and I get a little bit more impact with that color. When I played with this green color in the past, I was using another dyed goat hair, and when I was just using the Chikuhodo GSN 9, I noticed that pigmentation laydown was just a little bit lighter than I was hoping. And I haven't attempted this yet, but I'm going to use this light gray color wet, and I'm going to try and line my lower lash line with it. Let's see how this goes. Oh, I kind of like that. It's not that dark. It's really just a nice kind of light gray wash down there, but there's enough sparkle down there to really kind of accentuate the lower lash line, which is what I wanted. I think that looks pretty. All right, so there is the eyeshadow applied. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my eye look off camera, and I will be right back. All right, guys, here is my finished look. I will leave a link to everything that's on my face down below in my description box. Please let me know what you think down below in the comments section. Let me know if you have any questions, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.